There was a festive holiday atmosphere at Astros Field yesterday, but unfortunately the results were the same. Roy Oswalt kept Houston close, but Tino Martinez got the last laugh with his 8th inning bomb, icing the victory. Tonight, the Astros try to reverse the current trend against the streaking Cards on Fox Sports Net.
Live from Astros Field in downtown Houston, Texas. Tonight, it's game 2 of a 3-game series between the Astros and the St. Louis Cardinals. Welcome back to Houston. Bill Brown and Jim Deshaies. The Cardinals have run roughshod over the Astros. They've won a lot of close games this year. They won last night 4-3. And the Astros continued to score 3 runs or fewer the majority of the time in their losses this year, J.D.
Obviously, that's a big problem that has to be turned around for the Astros. In 19 losses in which they've scored 3 runs or less, they're batting just a $158 with runners in scoring position, striking out too much. This club in past years has not struck out that much, and they've walked a lot more than they have so far this year. That's a trend that has to turn around. It will be difficult tonight because Matt Morris is the Cardinals' ace. He's 6-3, 353 ERA. Shane is break even at 3-3.
Shane left the ball game against Matt Morris with the lead last time out. Cardinals won it late. Coming up next, Jim Edmonds continues to rip Houston pitching. A 373 lifetime hitter against the Astros. 6 homers this year against Houston pitching. We'll see Edmonds and the Cardinals against the Astros next.
Today's Houston Astros baseball game on Fox Sports Net is being brought to you by Budweiser, by your Texas Ford dealers, by Jack in the Box, by Pennzoil, by Southwestern Bell, by Gatorade, and by Southwest Airlines. There was an afternoon rain in downtown Houston. It's a gorgeous night for the Cardinals and the Astros from Astros Field. Now here's the starting lineup, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Tony La Russa's Redbirds are 5th in the league in runs scored. The card looks this way for him. It's Fernando Vina leading it off at second base. 1 hit away from 1,000 for his career. Shortstop Edgar Renteria bats second tonight with Albert Pujols in left field. The cleanup man is Jim Edmonds, an Astros killer, with Tino Martinez, who had a big night last night at first base. Eli Marerro in right field. J.D. Drew sitting out another one with a stiff neck. Placido Polanco at third base. Mike Matheny is the catcher. There was a late scratch of Mike DeFelice, and it's Matt Morris on the mound. And Shane Reynolds on the hill for Houston.
He's got a report on Shane. Outstanding command of the fastball, split finger pitch. His out pitch. He's a very intelligent pitcher. This is his 3rd start against the Redbirds this year. Overall, he's 3-3 ERA, standing at 4.11. This is his 11th start, 61 in the 3rd inning, 63 hits, 9 long ones, 20 walks, and 36 punch-outs.
Here's the umpiring crew for this game tonight. Mike Riley, Jeff Kellogg, Jerry Meals, and Kevin Kelly. Game 2 of a 3-game series. The Cardinals have won 8 of 10 from the Astros this year. They're winning most of the close ones. They've won 4 of the 6 by 1 run in the season series, and 3 in their final at bat. Fernando Vina needs 1 more hit for 1,000 in his career. A .298 hitter with 1 homer and 24 runs batted in. Leads the club in hits with 62, and he had 1 of those in yesterday's game. He also had a walk and a steal. Vina looks at strike 1 from Shane Reynolds. Vina's hit .326 against Houston pitching this season. He has hit in all 10 games against the Astros. A real spark plug for this Cardinal offense, which is 5th in the league in on-base average. Bagwell and Ensberg pinch in at the corners. Vina shows bunt, and the pitch is high and away. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Spark plug if he's on your team. Pain in the backside if he's on the other team.
Isn't that the truth? Feisty player. Vina has walked 13 times. Very aggressive leadoff guy with an on-base average of .355. He goes for the curveball, puts it in the air toward Darrell Ward in left field. And there's out number 1 of the evening. Around the horn for the Astros, it's Jeff Bagwell, who had his 34th birthday last night. He is the first sacker. Joined on the right side by Craig Biggio at second base. 3rd sacker is Morgan Ensberg. Julio Lugo has made only 2 errors at shortstop. Darrell Ward is the left fielder. In center, it's Lance Berkman with Richard Hidalgo in right. Brad Ausmus is the catcher. And now it's Edgar Renteria facing Shane Reynolds. 8-5 in Shane's career against this Cardinal club. Renteria is having a fine season at the plate. He
takes the curve, and it's ball one to Edgar. A .275 hitter with 2 homers, 24 runs batted in. Drove in a run yesterday despite being hitless. He had a sac fly in the 4th inning. Renteria had a 7-game hitting streak. The Astros snapped that one yesterday. Pitch is a strike call, and it's 1-1. Cardinals are 22-11 against the clubs in the Central Division. Not only 8-2 against the Astros, but 4-2 against the Cubs and 5-2 against the Reds for Tony La Russa's Redbirds. They're only a half game out of first place. Cincinnati in first. One hopper. Shane fails to field it, though, and it's off his glove out toward Lugo, and an infield hit. An ill-advised throw blocked by Bagwell. Could have meant an extra base, but Bagwell got leather on it. Lugo had no chance whatsoever to get Renteria. And it's ruled a hit, although it seemed to be very playable on one hop right back to Shane in his glove.
That play is almost always ruled a base hit, but it probably should be an error. Now, how can that be anything but an error? Sometimes I think the official scorer wants to make it a hit to put the onus on the pitcher.
Well, a lot of times,
which is not right. And even in the official rule book, it says that the scorer should not rule it that way. Once the pitcher turns it loose, you treat him like an infielder.
Yeah. Albert Pujols, the batter. Rookie of the year last year, has 9 homers, 28 RBIs this year, and a .286 batting average. He had a hit in yesterday's game, scored a run in the 8th inning. There's a strike. The pitcher, of course, is closer than any other player, so he has less reaction time, but that was a one hopper and not hit particularly hard, it didn't appear.
Yeah, and if that run scores, it's earned. So this is one of those rare occasions where a player would be begging to have the error called on him.
Good point. Pujols on a 4-game hitting streak, has Edmonds behind him. Foul back. No balls, 2 strikes. Shane pitched well against this Cardinal club and Matt Morris in his last start. Got no decision. In 6 innings, he allowed 7 hits and 2 runs through 91 pitches. Had a 4-2 lead. Gave up a bunt single in the bottom of the 7th inning and came out of that game. The Cardinals won it 5-4.
Wins have been hard to come by for Shane lately. A lot of no decisions. He's pitched well enough to win just about every time out.
Yeah, he's had that consistent effort. Long pause for him, and the pitch is whacked foul. Pujols getting around on that one, and it's still no balls and 2 strikes to Albert, who leads the Cardinal club in runs scored with 40. He's 3rd in the league in runs and has a chance to score more since being moved up to number 3 in the lineup. Tony La Russa made that move, promoting J.D. Drew when he's in there to 2nd, Pujols to 3rd, and Edmonds to 4th in the lineup. Tino Martinez batting 5th. That came a few weeks ago, and since La Russa has moved all those hitters up a notch in the order, his club has gone 14-5. 7th season with the Cardinals after managing the White Sox in Oakland earlier in his career. The Cardinals are trying to make the playoffs for the 3rd consecutive year. Of course, it was neck and neck with the Astros last season after St. Louis won in 2000. It's been nothing but these 2 clubs winning since '95, when Cincinnati last laid claim to the Central Division title. Runner goes. Pitch inside. Ausmus with a throw, and it drifts and hits the runner. Pujols takes a tumble. Renteria, drilled by the throw, gets a stolen base. The pitch is ball 1, and it's 5 steals for Renteria this season.
Cardinals have been doing a lot of running against the Astros in their season series so far this year. This throw drifts to the inside, hits Renteria in the base. He's out if you're playing kickball.
Yeah.
But not hardball.
Back in the early days of baseball, he would have been out. Runner could be retired by hitting him with the ball. It's a painful way to play the game.
We need to go back to that.
That's 16 steals in 20 tries for St. Louis against Houston in the season series. Ground ball goes foul. And the Cardinals might find it to be important because Pujols does not have great speed. Would be certainly a double play candidate. He's grounded into 5. Cardinals have hit .292 as a team against Houston, outscoring the Astros 47-31 in their 10 games. And they'll have tomorrow night's finale of this series and then 2 more series remaining, home and home, in September. Jim Edmonds on deck. Fly ball hit well to left field. The Crawford boxes are getting a customer. A 2-run homer by Albert Pujols, number 10 of the year, gives the Cardinals a 2-0 first inning lead.
An idea of the strength of Albert Pujols right there. It was a changeup or a split finger, some kind of an off-speed pitch. Pujols kind of shifted his weight to his front foot, but still kept the hands back and was able to drive that ball into the Crawford boxes. That's a strong young man.
10 homers, 30 runs batted in for Albert, and a 5-game hitting streak now for last year's Rookie of the Year. Cardinals strike quickly, and now it's Jim Edmonds batting. Edmonds is on a 3-game hitting streak. He looks at ball one. He has a dozen homers, 36 runs batted in, and a .338 batting average. Yesterday, a single, an intentional walk, and a sac fly for Edmonds. He's 4th in the league in on-base average at .457 and 3rd in slugging at .644. It's 2-0 with Martinez on deck. Cardinals have been outscored by a wide margin in the first inning of their games. 48-21 coming into this one. There's Edmonds right behind Bonds and Sosa in the slugging race. Good pitch to swing at, and he fouls it. It's 2 balls and a strike. Cardinals have really gone deep often against the Astros. That's their 13th homer against 3 Houston long balls in the season series.
This guy right here has got 6 of them. .358 against right-handed pitching, 10 of his 12 home runs. He's really hit well in this yard.
It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Wade Miller returns to the mound for the Astros tomorrow night. It'll be his first start since the second week of the season. Garrett Stevenson gets the call against Wade. That's an earlier start time tomorrow night, 6:05. Fly ball left center field. Darrell Ward back to look at it, and it caroms off the bullpen wall. Edmonds chugging into second, gets a double. 3rd straight hit by the Redbirds. That's his 14th 2-bagger.
Mulligan off the first tee.
That'd be nice. Going back to that comebacker, JD.
Again, it's the off-speed pitch, and Edmonds just stays back, keeps the head behind the ball. Playing pepper with the left field wall. Pretty good approach right there by Edmonds against Shane Reynolds. Have to be aware of that off-speed pitch. Sometimes a real good hitter like Edmonds, when facing a pitcher like Shane, who cannot overpower you with the fastball, will say, I'm going to concentrate on handling that off-speed pitch, feeling confident that I can turn on the inside fastball if he tries to beat me that way.
Edmonds is now 7 for 13 against Reynolds in his career. Bert Hooton out for a visit. Astros starting pitching has been very good. A 3.75 collective ERA for the group of starters, but a 17-18 record. Tino Martinez has been breaking out of a slow start. .233 for the season, 6 homers and 28 runs batted in. Yesterday, a part of that breakout for him with a homer and 2 RBIs coming in the 8th inning. He also had a single in the game. Ball 1 to the former Yankee. Now Martinez settling into this 5th spot behind Edmonds, has been ripping for the last 8 games to the tune of .370 with 8 runs batted in.
Even though it's the first inning and you hate to start thinking defensively this early in the game, you have to realize that Matt Morris is the pitcher for the Cardinals. He is their best. It may be tough to score against him. So if you fall behind Martinez, you don't want to give in here. If you walk him, so be it. Set up the double play.
Eli Marerro's on deck with Morris waiting to pitch. Shane moves him back. It's 2 balls and a strike. Tino has hit safely in 13 of his last 16 games, .315 during that time. His batting average has come up 40 points. Shane beat Garrett Stevenson in St. Louis back in mid-April. Tino started to go for it. The appeal works to third base, and it's a check swing call for Kevin Kelly. 3 balls and a strike. The Astros won the game for Shane 5-4 on April 14th in St. Louis, and then a no decision in his second try against the Redbirds the last time out. He has a 4-game winning streak over the Cardinals, covering his last 6 starts. Breaking pitch, good for strike 2, and it's a full count to Tino Martinez.
Good pitch there, not giving in even though behind in the count 3-1. Knows he has a base open. Pretty much that's the way Shane pitches anyway. Rarely does he give in when behind in the count, just throwing right over the heart of the plate.
Strike 3 called. Chipped away at the outside corner. Tino Martinez is shooting away at Mike Riley's call.
See, when you throw that 3-1 breaking ball, that plants the seed in the hitter's mind. Okay, this guy's not going to attack me with the heater. And you're able to slip the piece of cheese over the outside corner. Very nice.
Eli Marerro comes up next. Marerro has really been at the forefront of the Cardinals offense in the games against Houston. A .269 overall hitter with 2 homers, 17 runs batted in. .452 against Astros pitching. 1 homer, 5 runs driven in. Marerro takes a high strike. He has a .347 on base average. He started in right field yesterday for J.D. Drew and went 1 for 4 in that game. It just seems that he's been his hottest when these two teams are playing, and he's 5 for 10 against Reynolds. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Placido Polanco on deck. Cardinals have a chance to move into first place tonight. Cincinnati is playing at Florida. It's Florida 4, Cincinnati 3 in the top of the 4th inning. Aaron Boone hit his 4th home run for the Reds. Edmonds at second base. The Cardinals have gone 15-3 since May 8th, the best record in the majors during that stretch. Ripped to left field. It's hooking but staying fair for a 2-run homer for Eli Marerro. The Cardinals hit their second 2-run homer here in the 1st inning, and they build a 4-0 lead. Number 3 of the year for Marerro.
Well, that time Shane did leave a fastball right over the heart of the plate. Tried to come in, but you could see that ball never got in, and Marerro opens up the front side and juices it.
4-0, and the Thunder strikes. Placido Polanco, the batter, with 2 outs in the inning. He's the number 7 hitter. First pitch curve misses outside for ball 1 to a .257 hitter with 1 homer and 11 runs batted in. His average came up yesterday from .245 with a 3 for 5 game, and he scored twice. 12-point improvement in 1 day. 2 balls, no strikes to Polanco. That was Polanco's second 3-hit game against Houston. Recurring theme, Cardinal hitters having their best games against Astros pitchers this season. 3 balls, no strikes. Polanco is 26. The Cardinals drafted him in '94 in the 19th round. It's 3-1 to Placido Polanco. He was born in the Dominican Republic. Went to Miami-Dade Community College. He's been with the Redbirds since '98. He draws a walk. And Mike Matheny, the number 8 hitter, gets up in the 1st inning. Mike DeFelice was a last-second scratch from the starting lineup. DeFelice has been Morris's regular catcher for 10 of his 11 starts, and both of the Cardinals shutout wins. Didn't get a reason for his removal from the lineup, but Matheny gets the opportunity to play. .250, 3 homers, 12 runs batted in for Matheny. 0 for 3 with a sacrifice bunt in yesterday's game. We strike one on a fastball with Matt Morris on deck. Nelson Cruz is warming up already in the Astros bullpen. Tap foul, and it's no balls and 2 strikes.
I think a manager would tend to have a quicker trigger when you're in a situation that the Astros are in. One, Matt Morris is the opposing pitcher, and 2, the club is just having a hard time getting wins. So there are times in the course of the season when your club is playing okay where you just stay with the guy a little bit longer, see if he can work his way out of it. But that is not the case with this Houston club right now. They need to do whatever they can to try to get a win.
Still 0-2 to Mike Matheny. Mike DeFelice is 33 today. Jeff Bagwell turned 34 yesterday. It's a birthday kind of series for these clubs. Matheny a little bit younger than DeFelice. Jim Edmonds talks about it with Marerro. They both had extra base hits in this inning. Matheny 31 years old. And a swing and a miss ends the inning. Shane Reynolds gets his second strikeout, but the Cardinals do a lot of damage. 4 runs on 4 hits. 2 on Pujols' 10th of the year. 2 on Marerro's 3rd. Cardinals 4, Astros due up. Nothing. That's the hole the Astros find themselves in as they come up in the bottom of the 1st inning. Matt Morris on the mound. Here's the Astros starting lineup brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Julio Lugo leads it off. He's on a 5-game hitting streak. He's the shortstop, followed by Craig Biggio at second base. Lance Berkman in center field with 2 home runs yesterday. Jeff Bagwell's a cleanup man at first baseman. Darrell Ward's in left field. Richard Hidalgo plays right with Morgan Ensberg at third base. Brad Ausmus does the catching for Shane Reynolds. And it's Matt Morris on the hill with a 4-0 early lead, J.D.
Here are his weapons. A sinking 2-seamer, throws it hard. He can also beat you upstairs with a 4-seam fastball. Power curve, very durable right-hander. Averages about 7 innings a start. Relatively slow to home plate, but the running game won't be much of a factor with Matheny behind the plate and Morris with a 4-run lead. There are the numbers 6-3, 3.53 the ERA. 1 complete game, 7 home runs allowed. Very good strikeout to walk ratio.
Morris from Seton Hall, a 22-game winner last year, faces Julio Lugo. There's strike 1 to Julio, who has 10 hits in his last 5 games. 2 more yesterday. 5 straight 2-hit ball games for Julio. A .316 average, 1 homer, 11 runs batted in, and a good .385 on base average for the leadoff man. No balls, 2 strikes for Morris. Morris didn't make it through the 5th inning against the Astros on Thursday. Cardinals won the game 5-4, getting him off the hook after he allowed 7 hits and 4 runs in 4 1/3, laboring through 92 pitches after going to the hospital for IV fluids the night before. 1 ball and 2 strikes. He has an outstanding career record of 50 wins and 28 losses with a 3.12 earned run average. First round draft choice at 95. 27 years old. Spins Lugo around, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes for Matt Morris.
To go along with all the good stuff that he's got, he really knows how to pitch too. Move the fastball in and out, not afraid to knock hitters off the plate. The curveball is a very good pitch for him.
That one's cracked into left field, but it zips foul off the bat of Lugo. Lugo was waiting for it, hammered it.
That was a hanger. Got away with it. 346 in May. Best of all big league shortstops. 10 times now Lugo's been the leadoff batter. He's got a .341 average as a leadoff hitter.
There goes the other way, foul. Things have worked out with him leading off.
Yeah, he's done a fine job.
Craig Biggio's picked it up as the number 2 hitter. Not only that, but Julio's made only 2 errors this season. That one's a pitch that you probably will see often tonight as Morris runs the sinker down and in on a right-hand batter. That one a foul ball off Lugo's leg, but it could be a ground ball double play pitch as well for Morris, the way he has that down and in action on a right-hand batter, JD.
Yeah, and what happens if the hitters start to make an adjustment, think, okay, he's throwing that 94-mile-an-hour heater running in on me, so now I've got to be a little quicker and open up, and that makes you vulnerable to the high heater away or that good curveball. But, you know, with a guy like Morris, you just have to battle, and sometimes you have to guess and hope you guess right. He's got the ability to make you look foolish.
Ground ball third. Polanco in tight. To play easy. Around number one. Around the horn, Tino Martinez has played errorless baseball this year. 459 total chances since his last error. Second baseman is Fernando Pena. Turns the double play very well. At third is Placido Polanco. And the shortstop is Edgar Renteria, each of them with 3 errors this season. In left field, Albert Pujols, former third baseman, first baseman, right fielder. Jim Edmonds in center has made 6 outfield assists. And Eli Marerro can catch or play a variety of positions. He's in right field with Mike Matheny, the catcher, having thrown out 10 of 24. Here's Craig Biggio. High chop off the glove of Polanco, and that'll be an infield hit for Biggio. Polanco playing in tight, went up as high as he could go, but Biggio's tall ground ball, a little bit too much for him to make the play.
The effort by Polanco, big high hop.
Bidge, who was 1 for 4 yesterday, is aboard again. He's hit .341 in his last dozen games. Lance Berkman delivered 2 home runs in yesterday's game. He has 17 this year, third best in the league. 3 runs batted in, and the Astros had 3 runs scored in the 4-3 loss. A strike one for Lance, a .275 hitter, who is leading the league in runs batted in with 47. Sosa and Bonds 1 step ahead at 18 homers. Jeff Bagwell's on deck. Jimmy Williams likes this lineup with Berkman hitting third, Bagwell fourth, and Ward fifth. Plans to stay with it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Just a matter of waiting for the hitters to produce, and he is sure that they will. Track record would indicate they will. 2 balls and a strike. The Astros have lost 7 of their last 8 to slip 6 games below 500 at 22 and 28. That puts them in 4th place, 7 games behind the front-running Reds. Berkman has consistently reached base, as has Bagwell. Each has walked 36 times. The runner goes. Here's a throw from Matheny to the wrong side of the bag, and Biggio steals it. It's a bit of a surprise to the Redbirds, probably. And Biggio gets number 6. He is 6 for 6 in steals.
Trailing by 4 runs, you normally don't think about doing a lot of running, but it's still very, very early in the ball game. And last night the Astros grounded into 3 double plays and got picked off into another double play, so you can understand why they'd be a little bit more aggressive here tonight.
Now Berkman takes ball 3. Full count for Lance. Well, the Astros are 5 for 8 in stolen bases against the St. Louis Cardinals this year. This could be a big one to get the Astros on the board after the Cardinal 4-run first. Nice stop by Matheny, but it's ball 4. They appeal to third. A check swing on the curveball. A call made by Kevin Kelly, and Berkman walks for the 37th time this year. So now Morris has 2 men on as he faces Jeff Bagwell. A .267 hitter with 9 homers, 26 runs batted in, had a birthday hit yesterday. It was a double in the 4th inning, and he also walked twice. An early opportunity for the Astros to strike back. Strike 1 for Matt Morris. Morris worked 216 innings last year. He was the National League Comeback Player of the Year. He missed all of the '99 season with Tommy John surgery on his right elbow. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. He's a hard thrower with that big curve. Can create a change of speeds for the hitter and has excellent command. Just 54 walks in 216 innings last year. Bagwell to right. Marerro backing on it. Off his glove. Biggio around third. He'll score. Berkman getting to third. He'll stop on an RBI double by Bagwell. A well hit ball, and it's a 4-1 game. Marerro had a shot at it, but Bagwell hit it well for his 16th two-base hit.
And Marerro can play a lot of different positions, but I'm not so sure he plays any of them all that well. This ball should have been caught. It's hit well, but he took a bad route and had to try to make a late adjustment to it and right off the end of his glove. You see him really drifting off after that fly ball. Just has a difficult time out there judging fly balls.
Now it's Darrell Ward with one out and runners in scoring position. He pops it up. The shift was on, so Renteria has to travel a little further to get out into shallow left field for out number 2. Renteria was on the first base side of second. Berkman holding as Ward is retired. A .321 hitter makes the second out of the inning.
That's kind of been indicative of the way the things have gone for the Astros this year. In these situations, runners on third, second and third, less than 2 outs when you just need, a ground ball in the middle of the diamond or a fly ball deep enough to score the run. Too many times the Astros have either punched out or popped up in the infield.
Richard Hidalgo will try to provide a 2-out lift. A .253 hitter with 8 homers, 26 runs batted in. Couple of hits yesterday for Richard. That's ball 1. The Astros numbers overall look good. .267 team batting average with men in scoring position, but delving deeper into the numbers in their losses, they have not hit these situations. 2 balls, no strikes.
Richard, 2 outs, runners in scoring position, batting .240, .241. He could provide a huge lift for Darrell here, because the burden is really on the guy hitting with 1 out in this situation to get that run home from third.
Morris misses, and it's 3 balls, no strikes.
Because obviously his job is a lot easier. He can get a run home even with an out. Hidalgo needs to get a base hit to drive in a run.
Hidalgo's 2 for 10 on this homestand. Both hits coming yesterday. And he draws the walk to load the bases for Morgan Ensberg. Morgan a bit frustrated after bouncing into a double play in yesterday's game in the 4th inning with runners at first and third and 1 out. He was 0 for 3, .234, 3 homers and 17 runs batted in for Morgan. He's second among National League rookies in runs batted in. Yeah, there's strike 1.
That's the one you want to whack at. You might not get a better one.
There's a good one too, and it's 0-2 quickly. Three for 6 with the bases loaded, but he's really down now at no balls and 2 strikes. Don't be surprised to see that big curveball here. No, he doesn't get it, and it's 1-2. Pitcher has so many options though when he's out in front like this. Morris 5-3 in his career against the Astros. He's 3-1 here at Astros Field. And the curve is not good for a strike. It's 2-2.
Nice job laying off that pitch there by Morgan, because this is the pitch Morris wanted to make. It shows in the strike zone and just drops down below the knees by a hair. That's a tough pitch to take.
Ensberg has taken 4 pitches, and it's 2-2. And strike 3 as he takes off 5. In the Astros first inning, 1 run scores on 2 hits. The bases left loaded. It's 4-1 Redbirds. It's St. Louis 4 and Houston 1 after 1 eventful inning here at Astros Field. And now we'll check our voting. Go into Subway and vote for your favorite Major League Baseball players for this year's All-Star Game. Subway, eat fresh. There it is. They're going to be voting soon, and Jeff Bagwell leads the early returns at first base in the National League for the All-Star game.
Comfortably.
Does he?
Yeah.
Matt Morris fouls it on the ground, and it's strike one leading off the second inning. He has 3 hits and 27 at bats, a 111 average, and 1 RBI.
The guy who strikes out the hitter with the bases loaded always leads off the next inning.
Well, that was an awfully big turnaround for Morris because he was on the ropes.
Yep. Tony La Russa saw a quote from Tony yesterday or today. He said, Morris, he'll give you that little crack, and if you don't take advantage of it, bang, slam the door on you. Astros might not have many chances at big innings.
Ground ball, Biggio to his left, down on a knee for some extra time. 1 out.
Coming up tonight on the Southwest Sports Report, you'll see a report on the Comets' new season. Rice and Houston prepare for the NCAA baseball tournament at Reckling Park. Rice takes on Harvard. There's going to be a whole lot of smart people at that game. And behind the scenes with Texans owner Bob McNair and his horse, Congaree. Catch the show that was voted the best sportscast in Texas, the Southwest Sports Report, immediately after our game on Fox Sports Net.
All right. Shane Reynolds trailing 4-1 faces Fernando Vina. Vina hit a fly ball to left field to open the game. This one up the middle. Biggio dives. 2 outs on a very good play.
Nice play, Bidge. Ball hit well by Vina. Hang with him. Couple steps in a dive, face full of dirt.
Fernando is going for hit number 1,000, and the guy who's playing his 2,000th game, Greg Biggio, denies him. All-time club leader in games played. Nice effort, and now it's Edgar Renteria. He reached out an infield hit, stole a base, and came home on the Pujols homer. Renteria is from Colombia. Strike one to Edgar. I wonder if he's a fan of good tasting coffee, JD.
I would think so. Juan Valdez.
Yeah. Juan looks like he might have been a player too. Maybe a shortstop. Just like Edgar Renteria, one of the better shortstops in the league. No balls and 2 strikes. Good range, a nice arm, and when he's hitting, and he is so far this season, he is really a plus for his ball club.
The ironic thing about this Cardinals lineup, the 2 guys who are hitting best with runners in scoring position are the 1-2 hitters, Vina and Renteria.
365 is what they're hitting with men in scoring position. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Yeah, they really give their club a plus defensively. And when they're hitting like this, boy, that's a tough combination to beat up the middle. Not a lot of power, but just good, steady production. 2 balls, 2 strikes. They're hitting 1-2 in the order. So they set it up for the guys in the middle who can really mash. Cardinals are 5th in on-base average as a team, and they're 5th in total bases. A pretty steady ball club. Three balls, 2 strikes on a close pitch.
Well, it looks like Mike Riley's going to have a little generosity in the strike zone as we look at fielding percentages in the National League for shortstops. Renteria just behind his tourists is down. Looks like Riley will give the pitcher a little extra room down below the knees.
There's a strikeout. Shane gets number 3 of the night. He has a 1-2-3 second. It's 4-1 Redbirds.
Welcome back. Cardinals lead the Astros 4-1, bottom of the second. Plenty of baseball left. Tomorrow, remember, it's a 6:05 start time. So be sure to note that. Tomorrow's game with the Redbirds, 6:05. For tickets, visit the Astros Field box office. Call toll-free 1-877-9-ASTROS. Stop at Houston area Sears hardware stores, Oshman Supersports USA, or Astros.com. Astros, just have fun, just be early.
That's right. Brad Ausmus has had his batting average on the climb. There's another hit into right field. He goes for the first pitch here of the bottom of the second inning. Brad now has a 4-game hitting streak, 6 hits in his last 11 at bats, and he is 5 for 8 on this homestand.
Fastball up. Just muscles it the other way through the hole on the right side. Some positive signs so far by the Astros.
Yes. Shane Reynolds leads the world in sacrifice bunts with 8. Scoring early and bunting to Tino Martinez. To Fernando Pena. There's number 9 for Shane. Ausmus to second with 1 out. And Julio Lugo will be the batter. Ausmus now has hit in 9 of his last 11 starts. Jimmy Williams will still work Greg Zaun into the lineup occasionally, but we're not sure how much, and he's not saying how much because the pitching situation has changed. With Dave Malicki, who was being caught in all of his starts by Zaun, now on the disabled list, and Tim Redding in the bullpen until the Arizona series. Zaun was catching Redding as well, so Zaun has contributed. He'll be playing some. Julio Lugo takes a strike. Lugo grounded out to third in the first inning. Jimmy likes to keep everybody involved, and he has used a lot of different lineups this year. Fastball rides up, and it's no balls and 2 strikes. 92 miles per hour for Matt Morris, who missed all of 99 with that Tommy John surgery, and then they brought him back as a reliever in 2000. That proved to be a very good move. He did not pile up a lot of innings after the surgery, but he did build up some arm strength. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now Tommy John pitched 14 more years in the majors after his surgery.
Okay, so you found out when he had that.
Yeah, he had it in 1974. Dr. Frank Jobe pioneered that surgery.
And how long had he pitched prior to the surgery? Because I remember we looked at his numbers on the road trip, and we couldn't find a year where he missed substantial time due to injuries.
Well, he actually had 2 surgeries. That's the key to what happened with him.
So he came up in '63. That's what Boots tells me.
Okay, 3 and 2. So he had 18 months of doubts and recovery, 2 surgeries. The second one was for scar tissue, and they said that was really the key. And he went on to pitch 14 more years and win 164 more games, retiring at age 46. Of course, now he didn't throw hard like Matt Morris and so many others, but there's a walk, and that's number 3. So throwing hard doesn't always get it done.
I wonder, as a kid, as a young pitcher, if he was a hard thrower.
Not sure about that.
He was a tricky guy. Drafted.
Well, Morris and probably about 75 more active major leaguers have had their careers saved by Tommy John surgery. That's a lot of Tommy Johns. Greg Biggio reached on an infield hit, stole second, scored a run on the Jeff Bagwell double in the first inning.
Tommy John's name has probably been invoked on baseball broadcasts more than any other name in the history of the sport.
Yeah.
Given the fact that he pitched for about 26 years, and then his namesake surgery keeps coming up.
Doctors now place the chances of complete recovery for somebody with Tommy John surgery at 90%. In 1974, John was told by Dr. Frank Jobe his odds of pitching in the majors again were 1 in 100. Biggio with a fly ball, sending Jim Edmonds back. Edmonds way back in center field of that warning track. Here's the tag by Ausmus on a long out, number 2. And it's first and third, 2 outs for Lance Berkman now.
Had Lugo been able to read that ball a little bit earlier and realized that Edmonds was going to make a play on it, he could have gone back, tagged, and easily advanced to second base. But he'd gone about 3/4 of the way to second. Ausmus retreated to tag. At that point, Julio busted it back to first base, but he's just a little tardy getting back there.
Now Lance Berkman, who walked in the first inning on a 3-2 count, has 2 men on.
It's a tough read for a base runner because you want to be able to score on the ball if it's not caught. So you have to go far enough between first and second to allow yourself to score if the ball drops in.
Jeff Bagwell on deck. The infield shift on again. Strike 1 for Morris. There's the way they line up for Lance Berkman, and Darrell Ward too finds the same alignment from the Redbirds. They try to stack their infielders where he's most likely to hit the ground ball. He's got 20 runs batted in with 2 outs in an inning, 3rd in the majors. Those are key hits with 2 outs. The Cardinals have been a tremendous come from behind team this year. The Astros have done it only 4 times, the fewest in the major leagues, compared to 19 for St. Louis, the most in the major leagues. Runner takes off. There's a little chop. Morris comes in to field the one hopper. Throws out Berkman, and that's the 2nd inning. He works out of trouble again. It's no runs, a hit. 2 more men stranded. The Astros have left 5, and it's St. Louis 4, Houston 1 through 2. It's St. Louis 4 and Houston 1 after 2 at Astros Field. Time now to check our Dos Equis strikeout leaders, and it's the active leaders in strikeout to walk ratio. Pedro's up there, followed by Curt Schilling, and Shane Reynolds is 3rd.
And Schilling's numbers this year in that statistic are outrageous.
Yeah, he struck out more than the big unit so far.
And he's only walked about 10 guys. Tommy John missed all the 75 season as we continue our history of Tommy John and his surgery.
Very important figure in Major League Baseball.
I hadn't noticed that before. That makes more sense.
Albert Pujols takes a first pitch curve, and it's strike 1 to Albert. He lined a 2-run homer to the Crawford boxes in the 1st inning. He's hitting 17 of his last 19 games now. Batting average has come up 21 points. Shane with a pitch makes it 0-2. Shane had a 1-2-3 2nd inning. And the Astros have had some opportunities already in the first 2 innings, so if he can hold the line for a while now, maybe the Astros offense can get itself back in gear against one of the tough right-handers in the major leagues. That's rolled up the first base line. It trickles foul, and it's still 0-2 to Albert Pujols. Here's what he did in the 1st inning.
A lap speed pitch. It stayed up above the knees, about thigh high, and he whacked it. He's a strong guy. You see, we showed you in the scouting report at the start of the game that Shane is a very smart pitcher, and oftentimes this year the Astros starting pitcher has gone out there and thrown a bunch of zeros on the board only to suffer a loss or no decision. So Shane says, I'm going to allow the other club to put a 4 spot up there and give my guys something to shoot at.
There you go.
Change the dynamics a little bit.
That's pretty dynamic. Still no balls and 2 strikes.
Whacked one up there in his first at bat.
To change the dynamics of that result from Pujols at bat in the 1st inning. Shane trying to tie Don Wilson for 6th place on the all-time Houston victory list with 104 for his career. And he's moving past Wilson for 6th place in career starts with this one tonight. Did he go? The appeal goes to first. Yes. Jeff Kellogg with a call on a strikeout. That's number 4 for Shane.
Take a look at it from this angle, see what you think. Borderline. Close enough for me. Most importantly, close enough for Jeff Kellogg.
Jim Edmonds doubled to left center field in the 1st inning. Edmonds puts it in the air. Morgan Ensberg giving chase up the 3rd base line, and it goes back into the stands for strike 1 on Edmonds. Tremendous numbers this year. Ever read a column in the Wall Street Journal by Alan Barra, their sports writer?
Alan Yogi Berra?
No, it's B-A-R-R-A. No. Alan Barra.
No, but no, go ahead.
He wrote a column, and Jim Edmonds is 4th in a statistic he calls slob, S-L-O-B. He's the 4th biggest slob in Major League Baseball so far this year. That's slugging multiplied by on-base average. Slob.
Multiplied by on base.
Yeah.
Because we talk a lot about OPS, which is on base plus slugging. What does that differentiate?
Well, he goes into a long explanation and says that this is a better stat. There you are.
Does it value slugging more than on base?
Well,
perhaps?
457 on base, 644 slugging. So when multiplied together, it's .2978, and that's the 4th best in the major leagues so far this year. It's slob.
So we need to do an interview with Jimmy sometime and just say, hey, you know, you're one of the biggest slobs in the game.
That's right.
See how he responds.
He might not respond too well to that.
Just do it from a distance.
It's slugging times on base average. And Alan Berra claims that is one of the best stats around for evaluating players.
Wall Street Journal.
Yeah.
Pretty good with numbers.
Absolutely. Ground ball goes foul. Still 1 ball and 2 strikes.
See, I like that. I haven't read enough on it to really speak to it, but I know that OPS, and one thing, you know, to me, if you have an on-base plus slugging over 1,000, you're among the elite players. You're having a real good year.
Alan Berra is saying that slob means that you create so many runs per 100 at bats. That's what he's trying to get at with this statistic. Pitch is inside, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, any statistic you want to bring up involving Jim Edmonds and the Houston Astros looks pretty good for him.
Yeah, he's our #1 slob.
He really is. 373 career hitter against Houston, 14 homers and 33 runs batted in. It's 3 balls, 2 strikes, and this is what he does. He takes the close pitches and he waits for a better one and whacks it.
Just spits on that ball down. He's got a pretty good strike zone judgment. He does strike out a fair amount, but he also walks a lot. Not afraid to hit deep in the count.
Rolls over on this one. Biggio waiting. Now that time Shane got him for out #2. Shane's getting things together now after a very rough first inning, giving up 4 runs.
Well, triple bogey on the first hole, and he's come back with a birdie on the second. A chance for another one here.
That's a good point. You don't walk off the course after that triple bogey on #1, do you?
Right.
Well, some do.
Had to survive to play the weekend.
57 pitches thrown, though. And he only threw 92 or 93 in his last start in 6 innings plus. Tino Martinez struck out looking on a 3-2 pitch in the first. He hotly contested that call. A strike 1 to Tino. Still learning the pitchers around the National League, but that learning curve is working for him now. 28 runs batted in, pretty respectable. We're not even to the 1/3 mark of the season yet. Just a few more games and we'll be there. Can you wait for that to happen, JD?
The 1/3 mark?
Yeah, it's pretty important, isn't it?
We usually have a pretty big celebration, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Ball to Biggio.
Those 4, Astros 1 tomorrow night. It's an acoustic evening in the Diamond Club. 1 show only from 8 until 10. Artists Jesse Dayton and Davin James will be on hand. Remember, only 1 show, 8 till 10 tomorrow. For tickets, stop by the Astros Field box. Excuse me, that's Thursday.
Yes.
Check that. Thursday. Let's get that correct. 877-9-ASTROS. Tickets.com. If you go online this time, not Astros.com, but tickets.com.
Matt Morris leads it off for the 5th inning. 4-1 St. Louis. There's strike 1. Well, if you come tomorrow night, though, and you go to the Diamond Club, you'll have an acoustic evening. Sound of the bat hitting the ball as it's game 3 of this series. Wade Miller and Garrett Stevenson to pitch. 6:05 start time tomorrow. Ground ball to third. Morgan Ensberg right there. Bagwell with a stretch makes it out #1. That's 11 straight retired by Shane Reynolds.
Talk about a fighter getting up off the deck, eh? 4 runs in the first. Didn't look like Shane would be around for long in this one. He hasn't allowed a base runner since.
Fernando Pena is 0 for 2. Here's our Lowe's home improvement man. Lowe's improving home improvement makes Fernando Pena our spotlighted player tonight. He's gone from a .303 on base percentage in April to .413 in May. Batting average way up with 9 doubles this month.
Hard guy to defend because he bunts the ball well, so you have to play up to take away the bunt. Hits the ball well the other way, but he also has the ability to pull the ball.
Showing bunt, and he takes ball 1 with Ensberg in on the grass.
Astros play him short and straight away in the infield, and a step the other way as an off-field hitter in the outfield.
Fouled away. 1 ball, 1 strike on Fernando Vina. That is a 4-4 tie between Cincinnati and Florida. Bottom of the 7th inning. Phillies 4, Mets 3 last of the 7th inning. Montreal 2, Atlanta nothing. Bottom of the 5th in Atlanta. He runs up and takes, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike to Fernando. He's on the move quite often in that batter's box. Keeps the infielders on edge. Colorado plays at San Diego later. It'll be John Thompson against Brett Tomko. Mike Hampton squandered a 3-0 lead and lost again last night. Grounder past the mound. Biggio, tough play. Can't make the pickup. Infield hit for Vina. That's number 1,000 of his career.
Infield hit. If Craig fields it cleanly, he's probably not going to have a chance at him. With his momentum carrying him towards left field, it would have been a very difficult throw to make with Vina, speedy runner, going down the line. Oh, ruled it an error.
It's an error. Sorry about that, Fernando. You don't have hit number 1,000 of your career.
Put the balls in the Cardinal dugout.
Well, bring it back then.
And
you say what? That's not a hit. Let's get the ball back in play then.
He's not happy about it.
No, he really doesn't want to hear from Dave McKay right now because it's E4. So Craig Biggio gets his 4th error.
He is really despondent down there. I can't believe it.
Better watch out. He might steal a base. Edgar Renteria's 1 for 2. Sometimes that happens when a guy's a little mad about something. And he's a base stealer.
Well, he's probably a little embarrassed more than anything that they asked for the ball and had it thrown out of play.
Well, that's true. One ball and no strikes to Renteria. The Astros are tied for the league lead in fielding percentage at .987 coming into this game. Wouldn't be at all surprising if the official scorer got a phone call asking him to review that call. That quite often happens. 2 hop to short. Lugo shovels. Biggio makes it a double play. 6-4-3, and Shane continues on track. Bases only 3 in the 5th inning, and after 4.5, it's 4-1 Redbirds. And Houston 1 in the middle of the 5th inning here at Astros Field. Here's what's on tap with the Astros, brought to you by Budweiser. Tomorrow, Garrett Stevenson goes against Wade Miller. Wade has missed 8 starts. Garrett Stevenson has missed some time himself. And the Astros go on a 3-city road trip. Jeff Bagwell whacks a topspin line drive into center field. He's having quite a night of it. 3 for 3 for Jeff. That's the way the home 5th inning gets underway. Hit number 6 for the Astros. They've had base runners in every inning except the 4th now.
Some of the Astro hitters could take a lesson from the approach of Jeff Bagwell tonight. He's gone up there. First pitch hacking in his last 2 at-bats, has gotten base hits both times. Morris likes to get ahead with the fastball. Usually will challenge early in the count.
Darrell Ward is 1 for 2. A bad hop infield single. Renteria, the shortstop, tried to field it in the 3rd inning. He's again over on the first base side of second. Cardinals continue to bunch their 3 infielders on these left-hand pull hitters. And it's strike 1. So Matt Morris, with the Astros stranding 8 base runners, appeared to have some thumb problems earlier, but the Cardinals do not have anybody warming up in their pen right now. Breaking pitch popped back and out of play for Matheny. No balls, 2 strikes. It's Boston 4, Toronto 4 in the bottom of the 7th inning at Sky Dome. Just about time for that Fox Saturday baseball to return. Game is in full swing now. Memorial Day weekend has come and gone. No balls, 2 strikes. And a strikeout for Morris on the curve, his number 4 of the night.
Tightens that breaking ball up a little bit. He throws it in a very good spot.
Richard Hidalgo has walked and struck out. Morris beat Carlos Hernandez here April 6th, 8-4. Off the equipment of Mike Matheny. Might have gotten him off the leg. Strike one. Morris's first start of the year was as the opening day Cardinal hurler, and then his second start here in Houston, he won that one 8-4, giving up 2 unearned runs in 6 innings. He threw 125 pitches in that game. Hidalgo had a 2-run single off him in that one. No balls and 2 strikes. Morris retired Craig Biggio in that game with the bases loaded in the 6th inning, and then the Cardinals snapped a 2-2 tie by scoring in the 7th, and he came out of the game, so he was right there in a favorable position for a victory. It's Oakland 5, Baltimore 2 in the bottom of the 7th inning at Camden Yards. Eric Chavez hit his 12th home run for the A's, and Adam Pyatt hit number 4.
That'll be fun playing the A's on the next road trip.
It will be.
This time we've been in that ballpark to do a game.
2 outstanding young pitching staff squaring off in Oakland. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Cleveland needs Detroit. 4-2 Indians. Top of the 9th inning. Ellis Burks hit his 7th. Strike 3 call, and Morris gets number 5.
Got Richard swinging last time. This time looking at a low fastball down around the knees. Richard thought it was perhaps a little down, a little in, borderline pitch.
Morgan Ensberg struck out looking with the bases loaded in the 1st inning. Tapped out to the mound with runners on. A couple of them on base in the 3rd. Line drive single this time to center field. That's the way it's been going for the Astros. The hits don't come with them in scoring position. And he's 1 for 3. Rough stretch for a lot of the Houston hitters.
Took a lot of pitches. First 2 at bats. This time he goes up there and gets the first pitch fastball. Not a bad pitch. Trying to get ahead in the count. Good swing.
Dave Duncan comes out. Brad Ausmus will be the batter. The Astros have bullpen action going. Shane Reynolds on deck. So if you're Dave Duncan, Matt Morris, Mike Matheny, Tony La Russa, you're assuming the Astros are prepared to pinch hit for Shane.
And I think that's the point you hammer home with this trip to the mound. This is not a situation where you want to pitch around the 8th place hitter because the pitcher's on deck. If you lose Ausmus, you're probably going to get pinch hit it.
Lefty Pedro Borbon is at work in the bullpen. Ausmus with a single to right and the intentional walk up for the 3rd time. Ball 1 for Morris. Upset of the night. Tampa Bay 5, Seattle 1. A 5-run 3rd, giving the Devil Rays all their runs. Ryan Roop from Texas A&M squares his record at 5-5 with a win. Joel Marerro, the loser. John Flaherty hit his first home run. Saw Orlando Merced getting ready to pinch hit.
You're 5-5 for Tampa Bay. You've got to be a candidate for the All-Star team, don't you?
You know it. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Club is 16-32.
That's a good point.
It's Carlton-esque.
White Sox lead the Yankees 2-0 after 5. It's John Garland for Chicago. Sandy Alomar his 3rd. 2 balls and a strike. David Wells apparently got into more trouble.
What'd the Boomer do?
Well, according to one report, some fan, I believe in the lobby of a hotel on the road, maybe Chicago, wanted his autograph, was hounding him, and he chased that fan out onto the street before realizing that wasn't a good plan. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count. But then again, the way Boomer's workout program is going, that might have been about the best workout he's had all year.
Fan chasing, a new workout.
2-2 the count. Nice stop by Matheny, and it's 3 balls, 2 strikes. when he just gets down quickly on over those knees and blocks so many balls, you know the pitcher has to have a lot of confidence that he can stop the ball from going behind him.
He's picture perfect. Take a video of that, and if you want to show a young catcher how to do it, this guy will give you a clinic. Covers up that 5-hole with the mitt. There it is again.
Ball 4.
And they were willing to pitch around Brad.
Yeah.
Somewhat surprising.
And the walks are mounting. That's number 5. So it's Orlando Merced coming out to pinch hit for Shane Reynolds. The Astros trailing 4-1, have been behind ever since the 4-run Cardinal first. They go to Merced, a .227 pinch hitter, .275 overall hitter with 3 runs batted in for Orlando.
You can make the argument that the Cardinals didn't mind losing Brad because they knew Shane Reynolds would get out of the game, and Shane has been very effective for the last 4 innings. But still, obviously some risk involved here.
Numbers on Reynolds: 5 innings, 4 hits, 4 runs allowed, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts. He had a very rough first inning, surrendering 2 two-run homers to Pujols and Marerro. But after that was very tough. Did not give up a hit after the first. And now it's Merced against Morris. Ball 1 to Orlando. .337 career hitter with the bases loaded with 3 grand slams. It's 1-1. Astros have been in a drought when it comes to big hits. A 1-hop to Polanco. He'll go to third for the force play, and that ends the 5th inning. Once again, the Astros leave 3. That's the 3rd time they've let the bases loaded. They've stranded 11, and through 5, it's 4-1 Redbirds.
Another full weekend of racing across the Fox networks, beginning Friday on FX with NASCAR Winston Cup qualifying live from Dover. Then Saturday on FX, it's NASCAR Winston Cup final practice, followed by the MBNA Platinum 200. On Sunday, start your race day with NASCAR This Morning, presented by Smirnoff Ice on Fox Sports Net, followed by the MBNA Platinum 400 on FX. Then get a full wrap-up of all the day's action on NASCAR's Victory Lane All Access on Fox Sports Net. The Fox Network's your home for NASCAR.
Pedro Borbon comes in. It's St. Louis 4, Houston 1. The Astros frustrated tonight. Cardinals got 4 in the first. Borbon has been in 6 games. Those are the numbers with the Astros, JD.
Obviously, he's had a couple bumpy outings. 4 innings, 5 hits, 1 long with 3 walks. He's also had a couple pretty good outings.
Albert Pujols takes, and it's ball 1. Borbon pitched in all 3 of the games last week in St. Louis. 2 balls, no strikes. He said that's what he prefers, a lot of work. He said, I'm not one of those guys like Greg Maddux, Tom Glavine, who just get in a groove and stay in it. I need those frequent appearances. Big breaking ball makes it 2-1. Situationally, he's been a left-hander. That's been the way he's been used throughout his career. He compares this kind of like the way he was used with the Atlanta Braves, being back in the National League. 3 balls and a strike.
Timlin warming up for the Cardinals. Mike Timlin. Good pitch.
3-2 to Pujols.
Obviously, a Borbon in this game because Edmonds and Martinez follow Pujols, so this would be the toughest matchup for him, you would think.
Pujols went for a high pitch, popped it up. Let's see if it's in play. 3 players going for it. It is not. Still 3 balls, 2 strikes. Borbon was off to a rough start with Toronto with a 1-2 record, a 4.97 ERA. He had allowed 7 earned runs in 12 2/3 innings in 16 games. His final 6 pitches as a Blue Jay included A walk-off grand slam to David Eckstein of the Angels. A 3-run homer to Darren Erstad of the Angels. And a double to John Olerud. But gets to turn the page, gets a fresh start back in the National League. And he gets a strikeout here on Pujols.
Pujols got caught looking for an off-speed pitch, and he zipped a fastball right over the outside corner. Pujols trying to buy a call from the home plate umpire, starts towards first base, but you have the sense that he knew it was strike 3.
He quickly turned around and headed in the other direction. Jim Edmonds doubled in the first inning. He grounded out in the third. There's strike 1 to Edmonds. One ball and 1 strike. Edmonds is hitting .275 this year against left-hand pitching with 2 homers and 40 at-bats. It's 1-2. Minnesota leads Texas 7-3 in the top of the 5th inning. Jock Jones hit his 10th. A-Rod number 15. Bourbon gets a strikeout. 2 in a row. Now that time Edmonds did not look comfortable.
No, he did not. Astros will conduct an open tryout camp Saturday, June 8th at the Woodlands High School Scotland Yard. The address is 3800 South Panther Creek in the Woodlands. Registration is at 8 a.m. The camp begins at 8:30. For information, please call 713-259-8921.
Tino Martinez is 0 for 2. Strike 1.
That's the McCullough campus out there in the Woodlands for that tryout camp.
Is it? You know all those campuses, don't you?
Well, a little bit.
1 ball, 1 strike. These two would have squared off, of course, in the American League with Bourbon with the Blue Jays and Martinez with the Yankees. Tino's hitting only .146 against left-hand pitching this year. Shoots that one to Biggio's right, but it's not hit well. Biggio with a strong throw makes it a 1-2-3-6 for Pedro Bourbon, and the Astros are back at it in the bottom of the 6th with the top of the order trailing 4-1.
With the Cardinals leading at 4-1, the Astros would love to mount a St. Louis-style comeback tonight, JD.
Indeed they would. All 4 runs coming in the first inning. From that point on, Shane Reynolds was rock solid. Bourbon followed him and pitched a solid inning as well.
We have J.D. Drew now entering the game as the Cardinal right fielder. Drew off the bench to play right. And Eli Marerro has moved to left field. Albert Pujols moving to first base. The Cardinals making several changes, including a new pitcher. He is veteran right-hander Mike Timlin, after Matt Morris labored through 5 innings, but has qualified for the win tonight, J.D.
There are the numbers on Timlin. This is his 22nd appearance. He's 1-2 ERA, very good at .267. League batting at .207, also very good. Numbers across the board solid for Timlin. 30 in the 3rd innings, just 23 hits allowed, 4 long ones, and 5 strikeouts for every walk allowed. So the pitcher, I guess, will hit in Tino's spot.
Yep, because Eli Marerro has moved from right field to left. He's in the number 6 position. Albert Pujols still in the game, but he's at first base now, with Tino Martinez leaving. And Mike Timlin will go into that number 5 spot, previously occupied by Martinez. Veteran right-hander faces the top of the order here in the Houston 6th inning. Julio Lugo has grounded twice to third and walked. Timlin facing the Astros for the 6th time this year. He throws ball 1. Mike's been a very good setup man over the course of his career. He pitched 67 times for the Redbirds last season. He's now 36. Two balls, no strikes. Generally, he's a very good ground ball pitcher. Heavy sinker. Piles up the innings, and that makes his arm tired, which is a good thing. He walked just 19 in 72 innings last year. 6 2/3 innings against the Astros this year. He's allowed 5 hits and 1 run for a 1.35 earned run average. Strike makes it 2-1 for Mike Timlin. Began his career in the Toronto organization, then moved along to Seattle, Baltimore. Cardinals got him in a trade in July of 2000. He's from Midland, Texas. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Vaunted Redbird bullpen has the lowest ERA in the majors, 2.64. With a National League high 14 wins and 7 losses for the relievers for St. Louis. Ground ball, Renteria. 1 out in the 6th inning.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Houston Astros, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of the Houston Astros.
Craig Biggio is 1 for 3. An infield hit in the first. Allowed him to steal a base and then score a run on a Jeff Bagwell double. Lance Berkman's on deck as the Astros bat in the 6th, trying to play comeback. Down by 3. Little dribbler goes foul, third base side. And it's strike 1 on Biggio.
5 innings, 7 hits, 1 run, 5 walks, 5 strikeouts for Morris tonight. As we said earlier, he was not razor sharp tonight, but he battled like he typically does. Gives you a little bit of an opening. You think you've got a chance to have a big inning against him, and then he slams the door on you.
He is a competitor, isn't he?
Doesn't panic. He just continues to make good pitches under pressure.
Biggio to left center. Marerro back. Off the wall. Biggio has a double. And he's 2 for 4 tonight. Marerro had a problem earlier in right field on Bagwell's double. This time he seemed unfamiliar with the surroundings in left center. And Biggio gets his 14th 2-base hit.
Ball well struck, the wind blowing out to left field as it typically does here with the roof open. A little stumble out of the box, and again Marerro just drifting on this ball. Never really settling under it. Again, a play that should have been made. He's butchered 2 of them out there tonight.
The Astros get hit number 8. Lance Berkman has a walk. He's grounded out twice. Infield shift on again with 1 out of the inning, and Jeff Bagwell on deck. Timlin has a scoreless inning streak of 7 2/3 right now. Ground ball in between, and Vigna backhands. His throw is accurate to get Berkman. Biggio to third on out number 2. A nice play by Vigna. He's talking with Renteria now.
That can be an issue, I guess, when you crowd one side of the infield. Vigna, range over there on a play that he normally would make without any hesitation, but Renteria also had a shot at that ball and almost got in the way of Vigna's throw.
Jeff Bagwell's the batter. He's 3 for 3. Ball 1. Darrell Ward on deck. Timlin got a blown save here on April 7th. He entered the game with a 6-3 lead in the 9th inning. A couple of men on base, and Bagwell stung him for an RBI double.
Good sinker there.
Yes, it was. And then Richard Hidalgo delivered a 2-run single. The Astros tied it in the 9th and won it in the 12th. 1 ball, 1 strike. That was one of their thrillers at home this season. They'd love to provide another one here tonight. Came up with one against the Cubs Sunday night. Wins like that can really help bring a team together. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And the way the Astros have been playing recently, well, they've played hard, but just not getting the key hits. You might think that a few wins like that could do that for them, because they've been getting good pitching the great majority of the time. It's 2-2.
Was it Sisyphus, the guy that kept pushing the rock up the mountain and kept rolling back down?
Yeah.
And the way things have gone for the Astros this year.
Yes, it
This is when you think they're going to get that rock to stay up there.
Yep. Fly ball. J.D. Drew in right waiting. Timlin retires Bagwell. In the 6th inning, it's no runs a hit. Another runner stranded. 12 of them in the game for the Astros, who trail 4-1. Houston Astros baseball on Fox Sports Net is being brought to you by Subway. Come into Subway and vote for your favorite Major League Baseball players for this year's All-Star Game. By Corona Light. Relax and enjoy an ice-cold Corona Light. By Lowe's Home Improvement Warehouse. Lowe's, improving home improvement. And by Southwest Airlines. Southwest Airlines, bringing people together with low fares. It's a gorgeous night here, and Nelson Cruz hoping it's a turnaround ball game for the Astros. He is pitcher number 3 for Jimmy Williams. The Astros are trailing at 4-1. Pedro Borbon had a 1-2-3 6th inning. Cruz with tough numbers, but his ERA came way down after that last stint on Saturday. 4 innings of no-hit ball against the Cubs, JD.
Yeah, it has been a very bumpy road for Nelson so far this year, but really pitched well last time out. See a lot of hits, 22 hits in 13 and a third innings, 5 home runs, 5 walks, 6 Ks, numbers he'd rather forget about.
He goes to work against Eli Marerro. Fouls it back. There's strike 1. Marerro hit a 2-run homer in the 1st. Flying to left in the 4th inning. Cruz, making his 4th appearance against St. Louis this season, is facing the Redbirds for the first time since April 14th in St. Louis. Marerro and Mike DeFelice tagged him for back-to-back homers here on April 6th as he lost an 8-4 game, giving up 3 earned runs in 1 2/3 innings. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cruz had been on the shelf since May 13th until Saturday's appearance, but with Dave Malicki injured, he came out of the bullpen and really snapped around with that 4 hitless inning performance. A career 0-1 record for him with a 3.95 earned run average. 25,376 tickets sold for this game tonight.
Somebody's misfortune, that's oftentimes the case in this game. Somebody's bad luck is an opportunity for somebody else. Nelson pretty much buried out there in the Astros pen because of early ineffectiveness. Injury to Malicki. He gets his opportunity, pitches very well, and now an opportunity to continue to build on that.
Placido Polanco on deck. 1-2 the count on Marerro. Broken bat grounder. Still a ball and 2 strikes. Marerro needs another piece of lumber. Interesting revelation by Ken Caminiti today. Apparently that will be coming out in the next issue of Sports Illustrated. On the cover, an article about steroids in baseball. Caminiti admitted that he was taking steroids when he was the MVP of the National League 1996, and many other players are doing the same. Strike 3 on a changeup.
Well done. All right, coming on the heels of the revelations that Jose Canseco is going to write a book in which he will apparently name names and talk about how much steroid use there is in baseball. There's that dandy changeup from Cruz. See
the weight transfer.
Yeah, he's gone. Everything's gone. He's just hoping it's a ball.
Yeah. Placido Polanco has walked and grounded to shortstop. There's strike 1 to Polanco. Well, with the specter of steroid use hanging over the sport, it's going to be interesting to see how this whole thing is handled. May be collectively bargained. We'll have to wait and see. Little pop-up out into shallow center field. Berkman on the run. He gets there for out number 2. A couple players on the Texas Rangers have offered to be tested, and I think that's the case with Lance Berkman and a lot of guys who have said, hey, we're clean, we don't mind proving it. But the Players Association has had a stance against testing for lo these many years.
For a minute like this, ball might drop, but Lance got a good break. Put it away. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. You know, Bud Selig has come out in the same article saying that he's very concerned about steroid use.
Mike Matheny takes ball one. He's 0 for 2.
Kenny Rogers with some interesting comments. Basically, steroids can jump you up a level or two. Average player becomes a star, star player becomes a superstar, and the superstar, forget it. He can do things we've never seen before.
Changeup works for strike one. Barry Bonds is pretty unhappy about all these stories because he says he does not use steroids, and of course that really casts a pall over these home run records that have been set the last several years.
Yeah, if I'm Barry Bonds and I haven't used steroids, I would want to be tested to be able to convince everybody.
Time called by Matheny, so maybe it's time to deal with it.
I understand the mindset that, hey, my word ought to be good enough, but if you really want to convince everybody that it's au naturel.
Little jam shot over shortstop, out into left center field. Berkman hustling over. He makes a good running play. And the Astros bullpen airtight so far tonight. In the middle of the 7th inning, the score is the Cardinals 4 and the Astros 1. We'll take a break, get an update on the evening sports headlines. For that, we take you to the Fox Network Center. He shows you 4 for St. Louis in the 1st inning on a pair of 2-run homers, one by Pujols, one by Marerro. But nothing since then. The Astros got to run themselves on a Jeff Bagwell double in the 1st inning, but they have stranded 12 now. They're 1 for 11 with men in scoring position. Cardinals have left just 1. We go to the last of the 7th inning. 7th inning stretch time right here, deep in the heart of Texas. These fans enjoying the evening. It is a very, very nice late May evening. A little bit cooler, nice breeze coming through Astros field. Good night to be out, JD.
Great weather for a comeback win, Brownie.
Oh, yes. And they're staying as Mike Timlin has other ideas with Ward, Hidalgo, and Ensberg due up in the Houston 7th inning. This Cardinal bullpen has been tough to crack.
Kind of reminiscent of the bullpen the Astros had last year at the end of the year, when they made the deals and they had Williams and we had all these guys who had at one time or another been closers or top setup men. The Cardinals kind of have that look now. Timlin, for a time in his career, was a closer and one real good setup guy. Now here he is pitching the 6th and 7th innings. They have Dave Veers out there. Isringhausen, obviously a huge addition to this ball club, their closer. But they don't even have Steve Klein. He's hurt.
Yep. Due to rejoin the ball club in a few days. He's supposed to be pitching probably the final outing of his rehab stint tomorrow night in the minor leagues. Darrell Ward is 1 for 3, an infield hit in the 3rd inning. Infield shifts around again. Polanco almost halfway between 2nd and 3rd. Ball 1 from Timlin. Cardinal bullpen has done its magic in the season series against the Astros with 5 wins and 1 loss for Tony La Russa in the 10 games against Houston. Ward smacks one foul. It's 1 ball, 1 strike to Darrell. Redbirds with this ironclad bullpen with 14 wins, 7 losses, a 2.64 ERA, have 16 saves and 23 opportunities, so they've blown a few. They've blown a couple saves against the Astros. Timlin had a good outing Saturday at Pittsburgh in his most recent performance. A roller will get through because the infielders aren't there. And Ward is 2 for 4. Renteria was on the wrong side of second base to make that play.
Might be the most satisfying hit of the season right there. Hit one
might be
through that hole.
He beat the Ted Williams shift, JD.
Yep.
Are you supposed to be pitching him there with a shift on? Down and away.
I think with Timlin's game, he's just going to throw his 2-seamer down and hope he gets him to roll over and on the ground. That's a pitch oftentimes you see Darrell try to pull, but the time he stayed on and hit it the other way.
Richard Hidalgo with 2 strikeouts and a walk. It's strike 1.
I think sometimes if you try to pitch to the shift, you can get into trouble. Think about a powerful left-handed hitter like Darryl Ward. Most of those guys typically like the ball down and in.
Grounder goes foul, and quickly it's 0-2 with Ensberg on deck. Cubs 3, Pittsburgh nothing. Matt Clement, the offer of a 2-hitter tonight at Pittsburgh. He's 3-3. He beat Chris Benson, who's 0-3. Florida got a run in the bottom of the 9th to tie Cincinnati. It's 5-5 now, going to the 10th. Danny Graves gave it up apparently. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Derek Lee singled at Mike Lowell with 1 out to get the tying run home for the Marlins, a very competitive club this year. Phillies lead the Mets 5-3 at New York. Bottom of the 9th inning with Jose Mesa in the game. Now it's 2-2 to Richard Hidalgo.
See where Major League Baseball is giving the Toronto Blue Jays $5 million?
No, why?
To help offset the Canadian dollar.
Really? It's interesting. There has been an imbalance in the currency for years. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Apparently they made a grant this year of $5 million and have committed to consider a formula starting next year.
How about the Expos? Are they getting any payment?
I don't know. I guess there was no comment coming out of the Expos camp.
Okay. The Expos are owned by Major League Baseball.
Yeah, so kind of hard to give them a grant, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Line drive goes foul. It's still 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I guess if Major League Baseball were somehow to miraculously survive in Montreal with new ownership, then they would be allowed the same privilege that the Blue Jays. They've been doing the NHL for years.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Of course, hockey's such a part of the fabric of Canada.
Yes. Well, it was a quiet night for the Detroit Red Wings fans last night, wasn't it? That overtime loss, that crowd stunned in silence. Fly ball left center field. Jim Edmonds is back and calling. It's out number 1. Here's the tag, and Darryl Ward is moving to second. How about that for heads-up baseball?
Good play. Good heads-up play. And a little bit nonchalant from Edmonds as he handles this ball in center field. Watch Edmonds. Kind of just back on his heels, catches it. If he gets behind that ball and positions himself to make a strong throw, Darryl might not even try it.
It's good base running. You're right. It's a reaction of the outfielder a lot of times that determines whether the base runner tries it or not. And he picked a good spot. You can always turn around and go back if you see him make that strong throw.
All right. Good play. I like that play.
Now here's a pinch hitter for Jimmy Williams, Jose Vizcaíno. He's been a hot hand recently, and he's 4 for 8 pinch hitting this season. He's batting for Ensberg, who was 1 for 3. Vizcaíno had .303 for the year for 76 at bats. He has 1 homer and 7 runs batted in. Got a hit off the bench yesterday. He's hitting .300 as a left-hand batter. Timlin crowds him and gets a strike call. Vizcaíno started the home 9th inning with a pinch single off Jason Isringhausen, who then had to work out of trouble to get Lugo and Biggio to wrap up the St. Louis 4-3 win yesterday. Vizcaíno flicks it foul, and quickly it's no balls and 2 strikes to Jose. He's hit safely in his last 10 starts. Jose's 3 for 7 on the homestand. Runner in scoring position. Brad Ausmus on deck. Fly ball, shallow. Renteria out. He drops it. Ward back to second. Renteria tried the over-the-shoulder play. Edmonds standing right there, hands on hips, with a long look at the shortstop. And it's 2 on and 1 out now.
Misplays in the Cardinals outfield. This is a tough chance with 3 players converging. And Renteria was there. But it looked like Edmonds was there in a position to call him off, and it's a much easier play for the center fielder to make.
It's ruled an error on Renteria. That's his 4th. 2 men on for Brad Ausmus now. He's been on all 3 times with a single and 2 walks. One of the walks intentional. Timlin delivers, and it's ball 1.
Boy, the Astros have had plenty of traffic tonight.
12 men left on base. Greg Zaun is in the on-deck circle. Pitcher spot due up next. Turn back towards second by Timlin. Timlin's sinker misses, and it's 2 balls, no strikes. With Timlin having had closing experience, Dave Veers has been there as a closer. Cardinals have 2 guys setting it up now. Steve Klein could do the same for the experienced Isringhausen. So they have a lot of late inning experience pitching on this club. A roller to Renteria. Steps on second, throws to first, and the Cardinals get a double play. For the Astros, another frustrating frame with no runs, a hit, an error, and a man left. After 7, it's 4-1 Redbirds.
4, Astros 1. Tuesday, June 11th, Astros host the Cubs. 7:05 start time. The first 10,000 adults at the ballpark will take home an Astros sports bottle courtesy of Ruggles. For tickets, visit the Astros Field box office. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Visit Houston area Sears hardware stores. Well, you know what? Cardinals and Astros are on tomorrow on Fox Sports Net.
That's right.
At 5:30 p.m. Well, we do have sports bottles coming your way as well.
Yeah, we do. Here's J.D. Drew leading it off in the 8th inning. And we'll tell you about those at the next available opportunity. Drew in the number 9 spot in the order. 0 for 1 in this series. He came off the bench last night, having left the game the previous day with a stiff neck. Drew was retired in the 9th inning as a pinch hitter last night. Nelson Cruz misses with ball 1.
That's called cross promoting.
Yeah,
so what we do, we give you the visual of tomorrow night's game while reading the promo for the sports bottle. That way we get you twice. We let you know 2 things in one small segment.
Very clever, JD.
Just our way of trying to provide a little bit more to our fans.
This JD is hitting .280. Different JD. Drew with 7 homers, 22 runs batted in. They're changing a scoring ruling apparently right now. The official score announcing a change.
Vizcaino's ball.
All right.
That little blooper off the glove of Renteria is a base hit.
Vizcaino got credit for a hit in the last inning. Take away the Cardinal error. Give Jose a single. Pitch is inside, and it's 2 balls and a strike to J.D. Drew. So the Astros now pick up a hit with the scoring change, and that gives them 10. 10 hits for the ball game, but only 1 run. They have stranded 13.
That's a season high.
Line drive right field toward the corner. Hidalgo on the run. He gets there. 1 out. Bourbon retired the side in order in the 6th inning. Cruz came in and he set down 4 in a row.
Good break, good catch. Astros pitching has faced the minimum since the 1st inning.
Yes, sir. Very unusual game.
Yeah.
The Big Bang Theory may win out again with a 4-run 1st inning. Fernando Vina is 0 for 3. He reached on an error. That one goes up the left field line, and it's just foul. Fernando wasn't running. Took a few steps up the line. And it's strike 1 to Fernando Vina. He knew all along that ball wouldn't be fair, but sometimes a guy gets embarrassed by not running.
Gotta be careful when you make assumptions. He's looking for hit number 1,000. He's going to give it a good long peek.
Oh, yes. He gave it a long peek in the 5th inning when that ground ball to Biggio's right was ruled an error and not hit number 1,000 for Fernando. It's no balls and 2 strikes to Nelson Cruz. Jim Mann has rejoined the Astros bullpen. Tim Redding is out there, at least for the time being. Tim is not scheduled to start again until the Arizona series. So he'll be in a backup role with Wade Miller starting tomorrow night.
Yep, he'll be his caddy tomorrow.
Yeah. Probably driving to the park. Breaking pitch. Did he go? Yes, he did. Kevin Kelly with strike 3. Vina is in the umpire's face.
Well, he made a gesture towards the third base umpire, and that third base umpire is a rookie, and I think the home plate umpire Riley just basically telling Vina to lay off him. Tony, look, he got a little smile on his face. He's just out there standing up for his player.
Yeah.
Vina's a fairly emotional guy. Thought he checked his swing. Thought he had a base hit last time up. Did not.
Now it's Renteria. He's 1 for 3. It's ball 1 to him. Nelson Cruz has retired 5 in a row. 3 straight retired by Bourbon. The Astros have Cruz scheduled to lead off the bottom of the inning, then Lugo, then Biggio. Good changeup. 1-1. It's Cincinnati 5, Florida 5 in the bottom of the 10th at Florida. Aaron Boone homered earlier for the Reds, number 4 of the year for Boone. Cardinals will be watching that board a little bit. They have a chance to move into first place tonight if Cincinnati loses and St. Louis wins. Still early season for that. 2 balls and a strike.
Are you predicting a June swoon for the Redlegs?
It could happen. They would have to hit a ton, you would think, with that pitching staff. Starting pitching. Bullpen is good to hold up for a while. Fouled away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. You're already on record with that one. Now, Elmer DeSenz, who pitched tonight, is a good pitcher, but they just really don't seem to have the expertise, the veteran depth in that rotation to hold up over time.
And I think they've been leaning heavily on the bullpen, and you figure that's just going to be a matter of time before that pen wears down.
Yes, sir. Scott Sullivan is hurting. He got a shot in his elbow a few days ago.
Starters for the Reds have a respectable 4.11 ERA. But just, you know, Elmer DeSenz, Chris Rietsma's pitched well. I like Rietsma.
Yeah. Good changeup.
Joey Hamilton giving up a lot of base runners.
Jimmy Haynes.
Jose Acevedo, Jose Rio. Rio hasn't been able to pitch deep in the games in any of his starts.
We're not talking about Atlanta Braves or New York Mets caliber pitching there, or Arizona Diamondbacks, or San Francisco Giants. There's ball 4 high. But they're at first.
Hey, Tuesday, June 11th, Cubs come to town, 7:05 start time, and the first 10,000 adults will take home an Astros sports bottle courtesy of Ruggles. For tickets, stop by the Astros Field box office, call 1-877-9-ASTROS, Houston area Sears Hardware Stores, Oshman Supersports USA, or Astros.com.
Good cross promotion, JD.
Thank you, Brandon.
Albert Pujols hit a 2-run homer in the first inning. He struck out twice since then. The Astros go to Chicago Friday in the opener of that series, an afternoon game. It'll be Carlos Hernandez and Jason Beret. Saturday afternoon, Roy Oswalt and Mark Pryor, rookie from Southern Cal. He's pitched twice against the Pirates. He's 1-0 with a 2.25 ERA. And then Sunday, Shane Reynolds and Matt Clement. Clement with the dandy of a 2-hitter shutout tonight, giving the Cubs a 3-0 win at Pittsburgh. Phillies beat the Mets 5-3. Real Cormier with the win over Steve Traxel. Jose Mesa got his 15th save. Tomas Perez hit his first homer. Ball 1 to Pujols from Nelson Cruz. Colorado got a run in the first at San Diego. It's holding up so far. 1-0 after 2 for Brett Tomko.
See, the Padres have benched Sean Burroughs, Brownie.
Yeah, and they moved Nevin back to third,
yeah,
and Klesko back to first. They might send Burroughs down. That's the talk in San Diego right now.
I would think if he's not going to play every day, you would want him down in the minor leagues playing every day.
But didn't it seem odd to shift Nevin and Klesko to other positions before Burroughs had proven himself in the big leagues? They caused all that movement. Now they're trying to undo it. Check swing grounder. Vizcaíno to Biggio for the force play. And that's the third out here in the top of the 8th inning. No runs, no hits, a runner stranded. Moving to the bottom of the 8th, the Astros trail 4-1.
Today's Houston Astros baseball game on Fox Sports Net is being brought to you by Budweiser, by your Texas Ford dealers, by Southwestern Bell, by Pennzoil, by Brake Check, and by Miller Lite.
Mike Timlin is on the mound, and Matt Morris went the first 5. Cardinals built a 4-1 lead. Morris really struggled, giving up 7 hits. And now Timlin, who came in the 6th inning, is ready to start his 3rd inning of work. It'll be the Astros going to a pinch hitter with Jeff Blum batting for the pitcher Nelson Cruz. Cruz worked 2 innings, allowed no hits, no runs, with 1 walk and 2 strikeouts. Blum is 2 for 10 as a pinch hitter. Lugo's on deck. Biggio due up 3rd against Timlin, who is stretching it out in a long relief outing tonight. Cardinals have relievers warming up for them in the bullpen right now. Left-hander Mike Matthews, as Blum hits a broken bat roller. Fernando Vina takes care of it. 1 pitch, 1 out for Timlin.
That's what happens when you try to pull that 2-seam fastball moving down and away. Right off the end of the bat, shatters the lumber, and an easy out.
Cardinal bullpen rolls on with Timlin. 2 1/3 innings so far for Mike. He got the double play ball on Ausmus to get out of 7th inning trouble. The Astros, who have stranded 13, have Julio Lugo batting now. He's 0 for 3 with a walk. Polanco in tight at 3rd. Ball 1 to Lugo. Lugo grounded out to shortstop as Timlin entered the game in the 6th inning. Cincinnati now batting in the top of the 11th inning. 5-5 at Florida. Ground ball, and it's foul. High chopper past Polanco.
Oh my goodness, get that guy back in the boat. Good grief, man.
He got it. He got the desired trophy. Now he's dusting off, and she's wiping her eyes.
That's all right. 2-a-days don't start for a while yet.
That brought tears to that lady's eyes when he went over the edge there. Oh, they can't believe that guy would. The guy in the tie would never have pulled an act like that, would he? No. Off the end of the bat foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes. You ever see a guy with a tie go over the edge like that?
Oh yeah.
It happens. People lose a sense of who they are and what they're all about.
Probably
when they
less
come to the
inclined. Yeah, probably as a percentage of the guy with the tie, less likely to go over the rail.
Lugo fouls it back. Now, there was a guy at a Cincinnati game many years ago who was in the first row of the 2nd deck. He was about probably 25 or 30 feet above the field level boxes, and he reached over. He was a football player in Indiana, college football player who lost his balance and was falling over the edge. He grabbed on with 1 hand. Ground ball to shortstop. Renteria gets Lugo, and he was able to hang on with 1 hand and pull himself back up.
I think I've seen that video of the guy swinging there.
Yeah. Well, guess what we've got for you now. The best sports show is coming up, isn't it, tonight?
At 11 p.m., Phil Simms will be on board. Don Baylor and actress Daisy Fuentes. Any relation to Tito?
I don't think so.
No.
Mike Timlin has 2 ground ball outs here in the 8th inning. Got a double play ball in the 7th inning. Now he's trying to finish his 3rd inning in relief of Matt Morris, facing Craig Biggio, who's 2 for 4.
Remember doing the Tito Fuentes?
Yeah.
With the bat?
Yeah, that's right.
You bounce the knob of the bat off home plate and it kicks back up to you?
Well, trying to do it anyway.
Yeah.
That was very hard to pull off, though, if you're uncoordinated.
Yeah, you don't do it just right, you end up spitting out your gum.
Or injuring yourself in some fashion. Foul ball by Biggio. No balls and 2 strikes. So we were all
Joe
out on the
Carter used
streets.
to do the reverse Tito Fuentes.
Did he?
Yeah, when he was walking, he'd take his bat and he'd hold it out there on a label, and then he'd pop the knob down to the ground, and then it would kick back up towards him. It's a real cool move.
It's like that Tiger Woods commercial when he's bouncing the ball with the golf club.
I don't think I've seen anybody do that move in ages.
No. And it's hard to figure out why. You'd think somebody would bring that back into style, too. It's fun to ground ball, and it's speared by Pujols. He gets up and retires Biggio, 3 unassisted. That's a 1-2-3 inning, only the second the Cardinals have had tonight. But they go to the 9th, leading 4-1. It's a 4-1 ball game. St. Louis leading as we check out our Texas Ford dealers league leaders for you. The Major League Baseball batter efficiency rating. JD, this is total bases plus walks plus hit batsmen per plate appearance. So how many times do they reach base? Well, total bases too, figuring.
Yeah, on average. So
all right. So how many bases per plate appearance? Barry Bonds, 0.9. And Jim Edmonds ranking high in that stat too. He has a double in 3 trips tonight. So quickly we'll calculate his efficiency rating for this very game, and we'll get that to you very, very soon.
We'll multiply it by his slob rating.
Yeah. Whenever JD tells me what it is, we'll pass it along to you. Brandon Puffer in the game, and they strike 1 on a breaking pitch for Brandon. Pitcher number 4 for the Astros tonight. He's been in 13 games with an 0-1 record and a 5.79 ERA. Nelson Cruz, 2 hitless innings, 1 walk and 2 strikeouts.
Good pitch.
No balls and 2 strikes for Brandon Puffer.
It's a tough matchup for Brandon. Edmonds being so good against right-handed pitchers. Puffer, obviously, with that sidearm delivery, gives the lefty a good long look at it.
Yeah, he might be able to prove something to some people if he can get through the left-handed hitter right here. Edmonds, as hot as he's been. Cardinals getting ready to pinch hit for Mike Timlin with another lefty hitter. Gary Robinson's on deck. No balls, 2 strikes. When you talk about the arm angle, that's the interesting thing about a guy who delivers the ball the way Brandon Puffer does. Can he get left-hand batters out? That's the question people are always asking about pitchers who come from where Brandon does with that delivery. Left-hand hitters hitting .529 against him so far, 9 for 17. He got this guy out. There's a strikeout for Brandon Puffer.
Coming up tonight on the Southwest Sports Report, you'll see a report on the Comets. The new season just underway. Rice and Houston prepare for the NCAA baseball tournament. Rice takes on Harvard at Reckling Park. U of H plays New Mexico State. And behind the scenes with Texas owner Bob McNair and Congaree. I'm sure Congaree will have some very insightful comments. Catch the show that was voted the best sportscast in Texas, the Southwest Sports Report, immediately after our game on Fox Sports Net.
Gary Robinson is a pinch hitter for Mike Timlin. Congaree's going to make some comments, huh?
Mr. Ed did.
A horse is a horse, of course, of course. Gary Robinson, 2 for 16 pinch hitting. A 125 batting average. As a pinch hitter, he's hitting a 274 overall. He bunts and fouls it back. 0-2. You ever see that Mr. Ed show with the French dubbed in?
No.
Oh, yeah. That's
Monsieur Ed?
Yeah. You've got to see that someday.
Where did you run across that?
In France.
I guess you would.
But there's a 274 hitter, Robinson, with 5 RBIs. That's a very interesting show to watch, especially if you do not understand French.
Start looking at that wine bottle.
Talking horse in French. No balls, 2 strikes to Gary Robinson. He's had 62 at bats. The Astros in the bottom of the ninth have Berkman, Bagwell, and Ward coming up. So 3 powerful hitters. Then Hidalgo might get a chance to bat too. That means Brandon Puffer absolutely needs to slam the door here. Allow the Cardinals no more runs. So no balls and 2 strikes.
Maybe Isringhausen twist his ankle on the way in from the bullpen or something.
He has been tough to beat, hasn't he? Got another save last night. He has 14 this year. Swing and a miss, and a second strikeout for Brandon Puffer. Well, he put that one in a good spot.
Sure did. A low arm angle, shoots his fastball. The ball never was above the knees, just stayed on that low plane. Little dip at the end.
Quite a success story. Eli Marerro hit a 2-run homer in the first inning. He is 1 for 3. Ball 1. Brandon is 26 years old from Downey, California. Last year at Round Rock, he was an all-star in the Texas League. Pitched 56 times, had a 6-1 record, a 2.07 ERA, and 8 saves. Two balls, no strikes for Brandon.
This is a wacky game, Brandon.
Isn't it crazy?
4 hits, 4 runs in the first, and the Astros have pitched no-hit baseball since.
Hard to explain, and that's why we don't try sometimes. 2 balls and a strike. Sometimes it's better not to try. Well, how often would you say a major league team wins, what percentage of the time, when out hitting the other club? Maybe 65–70% of the time, roughly?
Yeah, probably.
All right, the Astros have out hit the Cardinals 10-4 in this game, and they trail 4-1. He was bailing on that breaking ball. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Cardinals offense has been in the deep freeze ever since the first, but there's that theory.
Big Bang Theory, yep.
Yeah. 4-run first, the big inning by the winning team, quite often, high percentage of the time, believe it or not, overcomes the opposing team's total of runs scored for the game. Almost hit him. He got out of the way. He didn't swing. Jeff Kellogg with the call. It's 3-2 now to Marerro.
That's why the sacrifice bunt, especially early in the ball game, is oftentimes a very questionable play. You have to, at some point, put together a big inning to win most games.
Breaking ball hammered on a line off Lugo's glove and on through into left field. So Marrero's given a hit. A solid line drive. Lugo went up and go up in quite the right spot to make that play. So Marerro is 2 for 4.
Well, let's take a peek. This ball may have been knuckling as it went out to shortstop. It was hit so hard. Just by him.
Yep.
Smoked it.
Cardinals get hit number 5. Polanco, the batter. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. Marerro draws a throw, a low throw. Bagwell going to his knees to stop it. Marerro is 7 for 7 in steals. That bears watching. Brandon Puffer is off to a good start for New Orleans with a 1-0 record, a 1.29 ERA. Pitch out. Marerro not moving. It's ball 1. Then he got a chance to join the Astros when they had a need. Wade Miller went on the disabled list on April 16th, that Puffer was recalled from New Orleans. Strike call. 1-1. Now with Wade Miller coming back tomorrow night, Dave Malicki will be placed on the disabled list. Grounder out toward Biggio. He makes the throw for out number 3. And now the bottom of the 9th inning. Can the Astros fight off their frustrations? It's 4-1 Cardinals. Time now for our Pennzoil protection play, showing you Craig Biggio on a line drive hit by Fernando Vina in the second inning. He goes to his right and spears it. Could have been hit number 1,000 of Vina's career, but Biggio denied him. So Vina was frustrated there, and in the fifth inning, he reached on what was ruled a Biggio error. Now here is Jason Isringhausen, the Cardinal closer, with 14 saves and 15 save opportunities, a 2-0 record, a 0.95 ERA, JD.
Yeah, very intimidating numbers if you are the opposition. League batting just $168 against him, 28 in the third inning, 16 hits. He has yet to allow a long ball. He's walked 9, struck out 32. Well, what a job by Timlin, eh?
Terrific job. 3 innings, 3 hits, no runs. He had no walks and no strikeouts. Got several ground ball outs along the way. That really sets it up well after Matt Morris went the first 5 for Tony La Russa's bullpen. The Major League best 2.64 ERA, and Isringhausen a big part of that with the numbers you talked about. His scoreless 9th inning yesterday extended his shutout streak to 13 1/3 innings. And the Astros have seen him at his best this year. He has not given up a run to Houston. He's pitched 6 times. 12 pitches in yesterday's game. He survived a hit and a walk. With 2 men on base, he got key outs on Lugo and Biggio to end the game. A 4-3 Cardinal win yesterday. Now it's Lance Berkman. He's 0 for 3 with a walk. Cracked up the middle, but Renteria is there. And twice he's made good plays on Berkman. Our Nissan drive of the game coming your way next. Eli Marerro hit the Cardinals' 2nd home run of the first inning, a 2-run shot. Earlier it was Albert Pujols. Both off Shane Reynolds, and the Cardinals led after 1/2 inning 4-0. So there's Marerro in left field as Jeff Bagwell, who has 3 hits himself, comes up. Jeff 3 for 4. Darrell Ward's on deck. Popped up. Vina out. Edmonds coming in behind him. Vina calling and catching. 2 outs. The Cardinals are 1 out away from being 9-2 against Houston in the season series. Isringhausen got a win at St. Louis over the Astros April 13th. He has saved each of his last 3 appearances against the Astros. Now it's Darrell Ward. He's 2 for 4. Cincinnati won in the 11th, 6-5 at Florida. The Reds will stay in first at least for another night. That's ball 1. Richard Hidalgo scheduled to bat next. But actually it's Greg Zaun on deck. That's interesting. Ground ball goes foul, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Isringhausen, Oakland's closer last year, struggled through the first part of the season. Then he got things together. They brought his hands together right there instead of going up over his head with the windup because they felt he was tipping his pitches. So now he just starts right there at his chest. 2 balls and a strike, and no more tipping, and a lot of success for Jason Isringhausen. He has 11 saves this month. That's the best month of his career. Fly ball to center. Edmonds underneath. And the Cardinals win the first 2 games of this series. They're now 30-22. They've won 16 of their last 19 ball games. The winner, Matt Morris, goes to 7-3. The loser, Shane Reynolds, 3-4. And Isringhausen gets his 15th save. Our next Fox Sports Net Astros game tomorrow night. Pregame show at 5:30. It's the Astros. Wade Miller returning to the mound against Garrett Stevenson of St. Louis. Our final score tonight was the Cardinals 4 and the Astros 1. Now we'll go to Randy McIlvoy and Kevin Eschenfelder at our Fox Sports Net studios.